you and save your family and protect you. I just want to inform people in Enugu that they have not already collected their PVC. If you are within between Opera Square, they are holding it now. They are sharing the PVC and you can still register. That's what I want you to inform people. If you are not ready, if you don't have transport, I can give you transport. I have 5 people that can give transport to any place. They can chat me up to do that. I hit my
Thank you
mind.
very much. Thank you very much, Adiola. I really appreciate what you're doing, and God will continue to bless your effort and will continue to increase you. It may look very little, but that effort itself shows love and it shows one Nigeria. It shows that you believe in the process and you're ready to do something about it. I appreciate you, my brother, and I will continue to pray for you. Thank you very much, Adiola. Mr. Kabir, are you there?
Saga, yeah, I'm here. Good evening, Saga. Good evening, Doctor. I hope everyone is doing good today. Saga, I heard your speech. I will call it a speech, not a submission. You remain inspiring. You remain inspiring. It's not flattery. So before I even start with the topic, I want to quickly say, there's something that I have never acknowledged on public spaces, but I would do today. When NSAS, started, it had a fundamental principle, it had a goal, it had an aim. And you championed and pioneered NSAS before it took to the streets. You demanded accountability, and not just by clamoring for it on Twitter, but you reached out to offices. I was present in a couple of these offices, but along the way it was hijacked. I know when certain people who came into the NSAS movement, at the last minute, accused you of this and that. So I want to really thank you for remaining true to yourself, remaining true to the cause. It's amazing. You don't compromise. With you, there's no compromising. The road to AsoRock 2023, this PeterObi's, prospect real world illusion. I think everyone on the space would acknowledge that we have had ourselves berated, insulted, mocked, when we speak of PeterObi by PeterObi's supporters. But nonetheless, I would try and put all that aside and speak, in the spirit of encouragement. I would try and do that. You see, we've mentioned having a structure, having finances in the past, even on your own on Saga Space a couple of days. But another angle that I don't believe we've discussed is the supporters of PeterObi. I believe that for us to achieve that third force, we can set up structures anywhere in the country, get people to register with Labour Party, get people working for Labour Party, get a huge campaign donor who would give money to pay these workers. But the third force would not actualize, or it would not materialize, even if we get the structure. The reason why is the forces behind the third force, not just Labour Party. The Labour Party is built, on beautiful principles. But the people right now who moved from the PDP to the Labour Party out of convenience are the people that are actually ruining these principles of the Labour Party. Let me break it down a little more. You see, just yesterday, I distributed 600,000 to people on Twitter randomly, whether they like Asiwaju or they don't. But I did this, to out of my own love for Asiwaju, to declare my support for Asiwaju. And the best way, I believe, for one to declare support for his own, the best and biggest and loudest way is through financing. So I put in, you can check the tellers, you can authenticate with them. They're out there. You saw it trending. I love Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I distributed my own money. Nobody gave me. I did that. Now, people who support Peter Obi come on spaces and rest their arguments on one, his clean record, that he is a saint, that he has never taken from the coffers of the country or Anambra State where he governed, that he is so humble, he doesn't fly private jets, he doesn't fly first class. But you see, the one political party we have criticized as Nigerians from day one has been PDP, and Peter Obi has been central to PDP. And then there were papers that were released a few days ago, the Pandora's findings that, clearly stated that Peter Obi had broken some laws as a governor. That would tell you that the paper is not as white as it seems. That is one. So on the issue of being a saint or having not to break any rules or being ethical, that debate has been somehow disseminated. Now back to his supporters. How do you want me to vote for your candidate when you cannot even hold a conversation with me without, you cannot hold a conversation with me without dismissing me as an enemy of the state? Like, you alone owns Nigeria. I don't have a stake in it. We cannot hold simple conversations. We can hold conversations with people supporting Atiku and drag corruption, drag performance, drag experience. But when you hold these conversations with people supporting Peter Obi, they will tell you he's the most experienced. Is he more experienced than a former vice president? That is the closest proximity to presidency. Is he more experienced than another person who has been governor for probably the same time he has been a governor in a more diverse and more complicated economy? And then they would debate with you that, yes, Tinubu Asiwaju was a governor, but then this one has made more strides than that one. Okay. Or they would debate with you that Asiwaju was a governor of a more favorable economy, Lagos. Then I asked them this question. You know Lagos, you've been to Lagos, you've had dealings in Lagos. The one part of governance that doesn't require money, that would, the one part of governance that doesn't require money that can weigh a man's competence is structural functionalism. Building a structure that works, building a structure that do away, unnecessary bureaucracy, having a system that one depends on the other and they work. Even if they depend on the other, they can still work independently. We've seen Lagos evolve in the sense that when you need a land, you go to this agency, from this agency to this agency, you get an authentication from this agency, and then you're good. Look at the state of Anambra when Peter Obi left. Yes, there was breweries, there were assembling plants, there were, modern markets. Look at Lagos. Take away the money, take away the economy. Just look at how Lagos is structured, how the government of Lagos operates. Is Anambra, the structure of Anambra, does it outshine that of Lagos? Is it better than that of Lagos? It is not. So even if you argue that Tinubu or Asiwaju got Lagos to where it is today simply because he had more money, he had more IGR, take away what requires money and talk about building a structure. to come on this space and say Sega should be co-host, that one should be moderator, this one should be this, and have this space work optimally and effectively and efficiently. This is what structural functionalism is. Lagos is a better working economy, a better working government than Anambra State when Peter Obi left. So even if you're selling Peter Obi with an angle of competence, he is not more experienced than the two major candidates in this race. He is not. He is not more of a businessman than the chairman of Intels, than the chairman of Adama, than the chairman of Faro, than the chairman of these beverages. He is not more experienced than Atiku. Atiku has been a businessman since he was a custom officer. So the argument is what makes Peter Obi different? And I tell you, obviously, the only thing that makes him different is he comes from the Southeast. That is what the debate is about. But is he the most competent person in the Southeast? Is another question. I'm not dismissing the debate about structure finance, and I'm saying even if you put that aside and want to speak, reasonably, who is he more experienced than? Shore? Because that's the only contender I know who has never held a grassroots office. And when you come to speak to people, you do not have an angle for this argument. When you pick up an angle, it is that of bigotry statements and dismissals. You dismiss people. So the truth of the matter is, I know, you know, if Peter Obi doesn't make alliances, regardless of which party he belongs, if he doesn't align with people that can get him votes from the north and the south, nothing can materialize. It is impossible. It's just impossible. Saga, we can sit on this space and go back and forth. You know the numbers, you know the regions, you know the political behavior. It is not doable. Not from Labour Party, not from PDP. They didn't push him out of PDP, or they didn't, give him a free way to leave PDP because he couldn't win the primaries. No. They allowed him go because he could have crashed the party as the presidential candidate. They can't sell him. These people are struggling to return to power. They could not sell him. He has no friends. He has no alliances in politics. He has no northern alliances. He has no southwestern alliances. I think it's easy to tell. It's just impossible, Sega. I think I would yield the mic and allow people build their, arguments, and I would come in if you permit me.
Thank you very much for that.
Sega, give me a minute. Let me do a commercial break real quick. Kabir, that was a wonderful submission. I can't disagree with anything you have to say, but I'm sure that guys who are going to join issues with you, and Sega will coordinate all of that. But I wanted this opportunity to actually market our app. Myself, Sega, and Co. We built an app that works like Twitter Spaces or Clubhouse, but it's Afrocentric. It's our own thing. It's called Gist House, and it works like Clubhouse with several features that allow you to even monetize it. And that's one of the reasons I'm hosting these rooms. I feel that in this political season, this is also a great time to promote an app like Gist House, where we can go there and be able to have discussions like this on our own terms, in our own language, in our own way. And apart from that, Gist House is the first app that actually rewards you for creating your account on it. When you created your Twitter didn't give you anything. When you create your Clubhouse account, they don't give you anything. But when you create your account on Gist House today, we are giving everybody that creates the account 500 Gist coins. It's a cryptocurrency. Yes, everything is down in the market now. The value is not much for now, but we all know crypto always come back up and always write it. So you get 500 Gist coins just for opening your account. And in addition to that, there are many ways you can monetize your conversations on Gist House, particularly if you're an influencer or a trainer or a coach. You can actually run paid rooms where people will pay you money to be able to enter specific rooms. Even though it's a free app, you can run rooms like this one that is free to anybody, just like Clubhouse rooms. But if you want to have a specialized ones and you have people that are willing to pay for what you have to sell, you can do that in there yourself. That's just two of the many ways you can monetize Gist House. Also on Gist House, you can run sponsored rooms. Here, all we can do is pin a link like I have at the top for you to download. But in Gist House, you can actually have a corporate body sponsor your rooms. It can be your own company where you can write something about the company plus the name and all that to sponsor your room for free as inside the app. So that's the third way you can monetize it. So it's a great app. Even I have to say it myself. I am the founder of the app. Sega is one of our directors. I'm my partner here, and we have the app is 100% African owned, built by Africans for Africans. When we launched it several months ago, it had a lot of glitches. We had to build a whole new build from scratch, and we just launched that. It's live right now on Android. It's gisthouse.com/Android. Gisthouse, GTHOUSE.com/Android. Or you can click on the link at the top. It will take you to the post on my Twitter. Please, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, I will appreciate it. I'm a relatively new activist on Twitter. I used to be a Facebook guy. That's where I'm big, and I have hundreds of thousands of followers on my business page. But I'm loving Twitter every day. So I'm a rookie here. Support me. Sega has millions of followers. He doesn't need to tell anybody to follow him. Me, I'm asking, follow me. Oh. I'm going to be hosting some of these very interesting rooms. I'll be hosting several of them. Conversations towards 2023, where we can really have fun discussing issues. But while we are doing that, PeterObi's business is politics now. He's selling his business. Tinubu's business is politics. He's selling it. So please do not grudge me for trying to sell my own too while we are having these discussions. Please download Gist House today. Tell me what you think. Download it, use it, create a room like this. Just see what it feels like. You just may like it, and then before you know it, you are opening rooms on there. I'm not asking anybody to leave Twitter Spaces. I own Gist House, and I've not left Twitter. I've not left Clubhouse, because they are all tools for being able to get your views across, for being able to get convert people to your way of thinking, to your business. I expect politicians to use that app a lot, because most of the people there right now, 90%, are Nigerians. At least right now that we just open the app. So it's a very valuable app for those of us who are looking for people for whatever we are selling in Nigeria, whether it's politics or business or whatever. So I appreciate you guys. Please support it. Download Gist House right now. Click that link at the top. Then give me an inbox on what you think and how we can improve it, how we can get it better. Right now, we are only on Android. We are still waiting on the iOS version, probably before the month is out. That also will be live again. Thank you guys so much for your support. I look forward to seeing you inside of Gist House. God bless you. Okay, back at you. Commercial over, Sega.
Thank you very much, sir, for the public service announcement.
I need to get
also, I need
to get an audio to play. I need to get a commercial audio. Sega, right?
Yes, so yes, it's necessary.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Kwe, and thank you, Mr. Kabir Amel, for your objective insight and also for the things that you're doing for the Nigerian youth out there. I think Dr. Kwe and I will also start doing that, because we missed that out in getting financially involved in, I say getting financially involved in the sense of doing a lot of giveaways to encourage the youth, so based on that, we don't want a case where when elections are going on, some people can go and disrupt it with giving money or so. So we want to be able to do that on our own. Dr. Kwe, your mic is still on. Oh.
Yes, now, the squadron leader.
Hello. I think his phone
Yeah,
is on. You
doctor,
can't
your
hear.
mic is on, doctor.
Yeah.
I bet you should, Seg, I think you should text doctor
Okay.
before we hear something personal.
Yes, sir. Okay. I have to find a way to get to his attention. And he's the host. So I can't, there's no way I can.
You actually can't mute him up. Doctor, please mute your mic.
I know, say, as I see your face, I know, say, your own face.
I think he's even
I know, say,
far
you
away
don't pass
from us.
Minions is okay now. I know.
Okay. Okay, I'll try as much as possible to let me maybe see if I can.
You see, Sega, what
Okay.
we're talking about, somebody just messaged me. I think I saw him. His name is Black and White. And I think he's with the PeterObi guy. He has started with the DM of fuck off, I beg. You see, this is what we're talking about.
Well, okay, yeah, these things do happen, and I think it will take time for people to begin to mature their politics. You know, again, we have to avoid allowing the curse of knowledge to impact us. There is also certain things that we did when we didn't really know better, and now that we do, we have to grow a thick skin, which is something that I'm still learning as well. You know, when you see people do certain things that are actually beneath them. But again, for the love of our country, for the love of for the understanding of what leadership means, which means you have to take a lot of rubbish, and you know, in order to allow other people to see. Sometimes they will learn from the way you respond. I give you an example. Showore used to be, I've known him for many years, and the way he reacts to things, you know, he can't even speak or make his point without abusing somebody before now. But now he has matured his politics to the point where even when you accuse him, point a finger in his eyes and all, he is always calm. And he'll tell you, please, we're not fighting. Can you tell me this? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me this? And with that, it makes people love him more. Even though you may not agree with him on a lot of things, they will like him. So I think we, as people who see from behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, even on social media, we have to cultivate that habit, because to be tolerant with them, let them say anything. Don't even respond. Before, I blocked a whole village. I had about almost 10,000 people in my blocked stuff. I have to punish myself again and unblock everybody, including people who have said things that should be rotting in jail as we speak now. But I just felt, you know what? That's leadership. That's the price. That's the cost. Do it. You're in the public space. When I sit down with elders, all these same people you think are quarreling with themselves, leaders of APC, PDP, and the rest, I keep telling you, we merged APC, and I'm not a member. I didn't say they must make me minister. Ask Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Ask all the topmost chieftains. They will tell you who I am. But again, it's not about that. I'm still a citizen of this country. I don't need to be fact that you help to do certain things by contribution, so that we don't have a single party in Nigeria. But now we're talking about having alternatives. So we must build our alternative. Even if I don't belong to any one of them, or even if I belong to one, there must be an alternative. So it is not about third force. The people are the third force. In fact, the first force anyway. Because these people are meant to serve us. They're not supposed to be totem poles, or they're not supposed to be gods that we worship. So, Mr. Kabir, thank you very much for your insightful contribution. And I always want to have you in the room so that you give us insight. So it won't be just somebody speaking or one person speaking from one direction. You know, speak. Let everybody who have information give us, so that we can see from all perspectives. There is a reason why we have 360 degrees in a circle. It's not because it's only one angle that is important. Every angle is key, so that we can make informed decisions. So thank you, sir. Stand by. I'll still come back to you. Ruthie, you have the floor, sir. You have the floor, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Shagalink. Okay, so my own is more like a conversation. I want to ask like questions that a lot of young people may have. I don't know if anyone is thinking like that, but I'm thinking that I think that the people who know these things should tell us what our options are, so that we don't keep going on this fool's journey. Okay, so let's say hypothetically, if Peter Obi wins the presidency, what are his chances of even surviving a day in the presidency? Like, with majority of APC senators and majority of PDP senators, like, can he even preside for even a day as the president? That is one. Then if if in reality, the young people putting their hope in making Peter Obi the president is a delusion, what are the options of the young people? As it is right now, for me, I don't know about other people, I see it like, the devil and the deep blue sea. Those are our options right now. But if anyone here who knows were to advise the young people, I mean, like the majority of the young people, everyone who is shouting Peter Obi, and everyone who basically doesn't know who they want to support, what would you tell us? Would you say that, okay, young people, can we make a deal with you? All of you come out en masse and let's support a particular candidate. I would say Tinubu. I would not say Atiku because I don't support anything Atiku. Let's say, would you come out and say, okay, young people, support a Tinubu? Because you know that even if you support Peter, I mean, in reality, even if he becomes a president, he cannot preside because everybody is in opposition party and it will not take a minute for them to impeach him or remove him as the president. So this is what you people should do. Support maybe a Tinubu and, let's have an agreement. If he becomes the president, this and this and this is what he's going to do for young people, or this is what, would happen. What I feel like that is the kind of conversation we should be having right now, telling us what our options are, what are our options on the table, so that we really know that, I mean, let's stop playing. Okay, we can't, even if we put a Peter Obi there, he will not survive it. So what are our options? What do we need to do? Yes, we have registered. We've gotten a lot of young people to register their PVCs. A lot of people have their PVCs. We have the force, and the force is ready to work. But if people who know these things and who knows what happens, I mean, like Kaburu just said a lot of things that, are very profound and are true, even though as a young person, we may not want to see them. We may want to be blind to that. He said something like, Peter Obi doesn't have alliances. And truth be told, politics is about alliances, and that is a reality. He said Peter Obi doesn't have alliances in the West, he doesn't have alliances in the North. These are the things that these people put on the table. So if a Peter Obi is a fool's journey or an illusion, like the topic says, then what are our options? Because right now we are alive, we're ready, we're kicking. We are not going back. We're not going back to snooze. We're not going back to hibernate anymore, because this is a fight for our lives. So what are the options of the young people? If you were to what are our options? I mean, if you were to tell us, let's drop this Peter Obi fiasco and do something realistic. What would anyone like? I'm asking anybody, what would you tell us to do? Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Madam.
I'm going to let Mr. Enna Arugo go shortly, but before then, let me just reiterate what you said, that if Peter Obi were to win today, what are his chances of success with the opposition forces, probably within the government itself, probably within the House of Reps and the rest? Secondly, what are our options if not Peter Obi? Of course, in social media world, if you are conversant with the app and all, and based on the number of kind of people you are following and the algorithm, you always seem to feel that everything that is being said on social media that is trending is what the whole world is talking about. And that's exactly all our worldview. But that is not true. Most of the things that we are saying here I don't think it even makes up to 10% of the real conversation out there if you are really in the right rooms politically. And it's always good for there to be a bridge between that world and this world, so that things can mirror our aspirations as citizens who converse online. Can be realistically taken as priority in the decisions of our leaders. And that's one of the reasons why some of us are playing the roles that we're playing here. And the issue is Peter Obi is not the only other person running in this election. There is a party called YPP. There's a party called ADC. There's a party called SDP. And these parties have leaders. They have their own processes. They probably will not be making a lot of noise. And they are rooted parties. SDP, in fact, is older than some of the parties that we may know, that we probably may not know as much as we do other parties. SDP is the Chief MKO Abiola's political party that people like the IBB are very much interested in, and the party is actually making a lot of traction. Of course, they have their own issues and the rest, but they are also making traction, and they will come out and the candidate of that particular political party also have a lot of points, also have a lot of traction, also have a lot of stories to tell, but they may not be making noise now. And again, it's too young in the day for us to assume these are all the options that we have. Showore is still there. He's still a force whether you like it or not. People will vote for him. People believe in his consistency. People believe in his doggedness. People believe in his relentlessness. So there are people out there. So we are not limiting our options. So is Peter Obi is the savior from what are the evil that we know. And again, the people who claim to be evil are not evil in the real context. They are people who have given their youth to the development of our polity. And they must not be seen as enemies because some press says so, because some political opposition has painted them as such. So which is why we are having this kind of conversation. We started when they were aspirants, talking about getting it right, so that the people can know their options. Now, we thank God the work has been made easier. With the primaries gone, we now know who the candidates are. So some people have already concluded in their head that someone like Anashiwaju will not attend the debate. I can assure you that if we coordinate ourselves and begin to have a kind of traction around the youth having a stake, regardless of what our sentiments are, they will be in this room with us. And Atiku will come to this room with us and speak to you in your space. Because there's no amount of time that he can engage us on TV. You can't stay 5 hours watching a TV station, and it's a one-way traffic. We can't be calling in. But here, we can have matured conversations, engage him directly, have him talk to you the way he would talk to his own children and his own the people that he wants to get votes from. And then you'll be able to know him better. So that way, you can have a one-on-one feel of who these people are outside what the press is telling us about it. I think that is far objective. That is objective enough. So then you can answer the question. Nobody with integrity can tell you go and vote for somebody. In fact, I know of a candidate who will never tell you vote for me. He will only speak to the things that they know you will do. He will also speak to the things that he knows he has to employ his weaknesses for, and he also share his vision about where Nigeria ought to be and what he can do about it. If you are now impressed by what he has said, you will now make that decision yourself to say, this is the man I'm voting for. So this is exactly the kind of candidate of integrity that we're looking for, not hating them based on what somebody said. And I also don't want to begrudge Peter Obi based on the actions of the people we encounter online. I've seen a lot of bad, characters and all, but I'm not going to be pushed to judge him based on that. Of course, I'm involved in politics a lot strategically, so I can tell a lot of stories that have been made up that are not real. But I'm not here to burst anybody's bubble, other than for me to show you things that you need to look out for. And then when they come before you, ask them those critical questions. I can tell you for free that since Peter Obi has joined PDP, there has not been any political collateral. Anambra has not been one. So what are we talking about? What will PDP lose by letting him go or letting him stay? He can't be sold. So if he decides to go and run it on his own, maybe if he's by himself now, he can have more collateral. If you believe in that, build that, support that, fund that, and push it. Wherever you think is lacking, be his strength. That is how politics is run. It's not about wishing. Because you've seen the reality, how people push Anashibajo, pushed him, made him believe that he can conquer the world. All the polls, he was winning, it was whatever. In reality, what happened? Even in primaries, that is his own primaries. That's as a VP, he's a very strong person. Within that place, for the control, he has the support of the number ones to fight. And yet, look at what happened. So things change. So things we assume here is not always this is not the replica of what is happening in the real world. So when people say elections are not won on Twitter, they're not trying to say that you are not real or you can't do. They're saying it takes more work than you think. It's not about the feel-good effect of we are all shouting, we are all plenty, we can all gather, we can all protect. It's not about, it's beyond that. There are some other things that you need to factor in. And that's why some of us who can see deeper than you can are here to advise. Youth, let us channel our energy towards having a stake in our polity other than looking for a messiah or looking for an idol to worship or looking for some fringe benefit of instant gratification. That is not the way. Any party that comes in, we must be able to hold them to task and say, we demand so, and so because of the swing votes that we control. That is how to go. It doesn't change the fact that we can still be a member of political parties. I can still spend money and say, look, if you're supporting Asiwaju, this is my contribution to you people. This is what is lacking that I want you to go and fix, so that the competition will be something that we can be proud of and own. So regardless of who emerges, it will be our president. That is the idea. We cannot divide ourselves further than this. Nigeria is not working, and we can only work when we work together. Hate no man, be prejudiced against nobody. Anybody you want to support, I will support with you. But again, work towards something. It's not just about the noise. Make sure people get their PVC. Make sure you have enough youth populace in the party that you are supporting. And then we can drive and we can hold them and say, look, in APC, we have so number of youth. We want a case where 30% of them are so and so involved in so and so. That is where our power is. You represent us there, and we can replicate that across political party. This is the way to go. Thank you very much. Mr. Ena Arugo, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, to answer our first question, when he was governor of Anambra, the House of Assembly was basically PDP, but was able to navigate through those waters. So he has that experience. And two, with what Kabir had said earlier, if he's going to win, which is very possible and doable, he would have to win with alliances. And the Northern Alliance, let's assume Kwankwaso works with him to become president, as Kwankwaso as vice. Definitely they will buffer that. Thirdly, there's a big macro outlook to the politics of Nigeria, which the youths need to be exposed to. There are stakeholders like OPTS, Oil Production Trade Session. You can go read that out. There are stakeholders like China, which we have a huge debt stock. Then there are also institutional investors that we owe debt. We owe currently a debt about, let's say, $80 billion. The US, looking at the global happenings in Russia, Ukraine, and how that can affect crude oil, and how Europe is exposed to blackmail from crude oil resources from Russia. So all of those embedded interest might bring a macro impact to our politics. If you know, Obi was at 10 Downing Street 1 or 2 weeks ago. So that already gives you an incline that there's a Western outlook to Nigeria. Just like in 2011, the West kind of tipped Buhari, as attested to by Kunle Olawumi in China's television station. So that's the first leg to our first question. The second leg is, what should you do? First, I would tell you to reduce your expectations first. Because if you understand the economic state of the Nigeria as it is, and what it take to take Nigeria to where the youth and the people want it to be, it's almost impractical instantly. And I would say reduce your expectations first on the next government on Nigeria. Because even as determined as AP was to win, they pushed, they won. Immediately they got there, they started crying. Oh, they met an empty coffer. Oh, this is how it goes. This is, I would say, first, reduce your expectation to what is realizable. Secondly, I'll tell you, do not adopt line thinking. Because in line thinking, everybody just stands behind one person. You don't have beauty of robust of discussion. So that's dangerous. You people are just pushing Peter Obi, Peter Obi, Peter Obi, Peter Obi. His vision is limited. We've listened to the economic discussion. It's not really deep. Yes, people, hope is the greatest legacy of leadership. The youth need someone to rally around. You can rally around, but I would say keep your vote to your chest. And what was my advice to Peter Obi supporter? I'm not a Peter Obi supporter. I've not chosen who I will vote for. My advice was simple for Labour Party and for Peter Obi supporters. Ekiti election is coming. Osun election is coming. Why not you people come together and support a candidate? For example, Davido is youth. His uncle is contesting. The youth can queue behind Davido. I'm not saying do this. They can queue behind Davido, for example, just hypothetical. Support his uncle, and he wins. Then you've shown working. Oh, we've done it in Ocean. Move over to it. You replicate this thing. Then it's easy to push it towards AsoRock. But in reality, winning AsoRock is very easy. Change is inevitable. There are 5 processes to change. The first stage is denial, delay, discarding, implementation, and internalization. But for me, it's not about winning AsoRock. It's about when you get there, what are the realities that we see? Like The US removed Gaddafi from Libya. It was easy to remove Gaddafi. They removed Gaddafi, but look at Libya today. So that's answering your question. On a larger context, on a larger take, I think we should also have a way to prepare leaders. Segi, this is directly to you and to Dr. Ope and to Kebi and everybody. From my own research and analysis, I feel one of the things that Nigeria suffered the most in sensation. I wrote an article 1999 to 2011. Yes. When I look deeply, I noticed that 99% of people who came into government were not prepared for government. 99% of the people who came into government were not prepared for government. Segi is on this spot today. My question is, why is Segi not contesting for either presidency or the governorship? And the beauty of it is that everybody that has become a president in Nigeria, to a very large extent, were people who did not push to become presidents. Look at the guy that currently has the PDP ticket in River State. He's a young guy. Wiki at the last minute tweeted it towards him. Today's the governorship aspirant. My big question to you today is a youth. Segi, I'm using that as an example. How prepared is he to run River State? It's easy to blame these people for what they've done. Look deeply. Jonathan, nobody prepared Jonathan to become president. Jonathan did not fail. He was not prepared. If you went to Otuoke, where he was from, and picked another person to become president, the person will fail. Why? He's not prepared to become president. So our advice as a larger house in the context of the economic, political, social, and security challenges that we face, the best thing we can do today is one, to put a system in place to prepare people for leadership. Then secondly and lastly for my submission now is the youth need to have a bank vote. Tinubu is who he is to because of swing votes. In 2003, Obasanjo went into an agreement with them. They swung the vote and Obasanjo deceived them. They lost it. In 2011, Jonathan courted Tinubu. Tinubu swung the Southwest votes for Jonathan. Jonathan won. In 2015, Buhari and Jonathan were struggling for Tinubu's swing votes. Buhari won it due to Western influence. Today, Buhari is president. The youths need to have a bank of a minimum 17 million votes, not affiliated to any party. And what are that swing votes with leaders like Segi? At the end of the day, very, very close to the elections, we will swing the vote in our favor and we'll sit on the table to negotiate. Like Tamboa swung the vote for the PDP primaries at the last minute to what? And is negotiated already to become Senate president. Like the other governors too, who stepped down for Tinubu, and the northern governors swung the vote for Tinubu at the last minute. I think that's what we should replicate. Thank you for giving me your ears.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Ena Arugo, for that. I think you spoke about this earlier in our rooms. I've also been talking about this to people, that while we are very passionate about the people we like in government, and while we are very passionate about the parties we like, we must also work on something that works for all of us, something that we can bring to the negotiation table that will favor us regardless of which party is in power. This is our joker, something that makes us a force, ideally. And I think it is important that we note this. It's important that we continue to say this, and it's important that we walk people through it. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Sege, I didn't add something. We can also begin to gather a war chest. Nobody should be scared of money. Money is part of politics. It is deception to spend money. So we can begin to create a war chest. Diaspora sent $26 billion last year. We can easily raise $1 billion in 10 minutes. It happened in Egypt. The Swiss Canal Extension Project, they raised $8.5 billion in 8 hours. The government had to beg the people to stop. They do MMM and all those scams in Nigeria. People raise money. We should not be as afraid to spend money. And lastly, we are deceiving ourselves thinking we're not spending money. By the time this 2023 election is over, Labour Party would have spent more money than APC and PDP combined. Why? You are monetizing your time. You're volunteering your time to support Peter Obi. That if Peter Obi loves you, he will tell you not to spend your time because you're wasting your time. Time is money. In America, I live in America. They pay you per hour, $100 per hour, $8 per hour. So Labour Party should not think they will not spend money. Peter Obi should not think he will not spend money. It's a lie. You're spending your time. Your time is more valuable than money. Abakari is dead. Many people, Abacha is dead. They had money. They wish they had extra time. So please, let's stop saying, oh, no money, no money. Sege, let's raise a bank, a minimum of like $1 billion. And at the right time, we'll dispose it. We'll pay people so that they don't need to pay them off. Even if they pay them $10,000, we'll pay $15,000. Because if you don't pay, these guys will come and pay them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I mentioned that in Clubhouse, and I'm going to repeat it here again. Without economy, you can't fight, you can't be politically relevant. This criminal justice system will not respect you. The media will not carry whatever it is you say as news. And your education will not be applied, no matter how big your whatever your bag is. And this is the power that some of us have that is making the message go far. That's why we're not asking you for money, for anything to donate here and there. But this time around, we're all in this. But we will lead that. We will donate money, put money somewhere, because we have been burnt before. In ADC, Professor Mogalu and Monye lost elections because somebody paid $100 each. Imagine if we have packed our bullion van there and we have doubled whatever it is they have to pay. We will have Kingsley Mogalu in this room right now. We have Monye in this room right now, and they will be part of that conversation. So we will not shy away from this. We will put our money where our mouth is, and we will lead the way. We will, like Mr. Kabir have done. He gave us 600,000, to people randomly to encourage them. We will double that and make that $1 million on a weekly basis until election comes. We can do this. We have the money. If it is MMM now, so I know how many cases people have sent to me. Of course, all these legal cases that we're even doing for free. Maybe we'll start charging something and people will know that we're serious towards the election. Because all these cases I've seen of huge monies that they give to people. I don't even know how these people who can't even speak good English. I don't know what they tell you. I don't know how they wired they brainwash you to get money out of your hands. How can somebody dupe you of billions of naira when you are crying that you don't have money to pay for so and so? And it's not that the person have anything special to say. Let's begin to channel that money into things that will benefit you and create enabling environment for everybody to thrive. And I whether we like it or not, the people running for election, the Atikus of this world, the Ashwajis of this world, these are not people who stifle the economy. By the time things start working in Nigeria, I am telling you that people may not even remember who is president. People may not even remember what's going on the news. We probably will not even have enough people on spaces again when Nigeria start working. I know Nigerians. Small AC like this, we have forgotten our sorrows. We are going to be singing and dancing. And so we want to keep this pressure on so that the youth, we have a say in Nigerian politics and not be a tool in the hands of our politicians. Thank you very much, Mr. Ena Arugo. I don't know if there's any response or addition to what he has said from the top. Mr. Kabir, you have anything to add?
No. He had his submission was beautiful.
Okay. If I may, so the follow-up question would be that if Peter Obi was impeached 3 times in Anambra, as the president, how many times would he need to be impeached and overcome before he'll be able to work, like he'll be allowed to even do anything? So that is another question. But for me, this is just thinking strategically so that we know exactly what we're doing and we know that what we are doing can actually yield results. So that is that for me.
Thank you very much. Like we said before, this is not much about Peter Obi. It's just a point of contact to every other person that we're obsessed about within the race. And again, if you're talking about state politics, where he has a bit of an advantage here and there, it's different from national politics. National politics, the job of the president is like a crisis manager. You are making decisions on a daily that will infuriate some people, that will make you lose support, that will make your party turn against you, that will make people, that can even cause chaos in your country. So the pressure is more. It is beyond I'm saving money. It is beyond, a lot of things took a nosedive simply because it was saving money then too. There are so many things that money needed to be used for that we felt, oh no, we can't do that now. Let's wait a little bit. And things was scattering. I was there. I was a member of a tribunal who was looking into the cases of police brutality in that state. And I know that certain things have not been made public, but look, things were bad, really bad. So it's not more, presidency is not about money per se, saving money or not. There are so many dynamics and it will need a lot of help. So maybe understanding of how that works, at least I've been able to sit down with presidents for years, including in 2015 and all, to one-on-one to discuss Nigeria. And what I know and what I see is far more complicated than what people see in the street. No president stands on the balcony to watch what is happening in different places. They get reports, intelligence reports and all. And so we are very, very critical to the operations of every the state. So we cannot continue to sing and hail during election season and then go back to our shell. So we need to be involved. So it is more critical than that. When impeachment in state and all, it could be mild. When it comes to federal and all, it's a serious game. You can't even risk that with the kind of issues that we're dealing with in Nigeria now. So, Mr.
Saga, can I quickly let me just talk about the impeachment you spoke about, not from Anambra, but possible case scenario. I just want to paint a quick scenario for her. You see, at the national level, we've been talking hypothetical. So hypothetically speaking, PeterObi is declared winner of the presidential elections, general elections. He's now the, GCFR. So the reality would be that we have a Senate president who is from the APC, majority in the House and the Senate and the Assembly. Majority in the House and the Senate and the Assemblies. That means the Speaker would most likely be from the majority, would be from the PDP. Now, PeterObi would have to do two things. He cannot escape it. He cannot. Whoever finds himself as a third force in that position, and then the majority in the House is either PDP or APC or another party, aside from his own party, he has to do two things. One is either he joins that majority party in the House, or he gets impeached for silly reasons. The silliest reasons. This is just the reality. Imagine the Speaker of the House. You are in a different party and with the Speaker of the House, and it's not a parliamentary system with a side monarchy. He goes to the PDP minority and say, let's take him out. Or they go to him and say, where are you? We're the minority. Join us, we'll never allow you to get impeached. Or the APC would, make contact and say, join us and we'll never impeach you. That's it. So that's just the scenario I wanted to paint.
Okay, so while we're still on it, so there is a 90% chance that he may just join one of those parties after winning on the ticket of a different party, just because he's president.
Yeah, Ruth, as a president, you consolidate power. When you become president, you realize that aside the executive orders, there are other influence that power is required. It requires powers. IBB. People would have to fear you because you're friends with Theophilus Danjuma. Imagine, changing the oil policy of the higher the barrel price, the higher the petrol price in the country. You want to change a policy like that, and then you put out that policy, and then the power players, Irano, Aliko, and the rest of them in the oil sector are fighting with you over such a policy because it doesn't favor their subsidy, petroleum equalization settlement. What do you think would happen? You go to the top boss, then imagine you have an alliance. You're friends with Theophilus Danjuma, who has oil mining licenses, who controls that sector. So basically, or you're friends with the Pegasus boss. That means you can actually instigate a protest against